the FatBeats.
To the stairwell to FatBeats. FatBeats they play on.
What's up, everyone? DJ Eclipse right here. This is FatBeats Behind the Counter podcast, and today we are being joined by none other than Digging in the Crate's own Diamond D and Lord Finesse. What's up, gentlemen?
What's good? What's good, Clips?
Yeah. Good to have you all here. Good to see y'all. We have a lot to talk about, both old and new. Cover some history, talk about new projects. There is new stuff coming from both of y'all this year. So let's just get right into it, and let's bring it back. D, I know your early beginnings. You were kind of coming up underneath Jazzy J,
right?
Zulu Nation. You know what I'm saying? So can you give us some background exactly on how that kind of came together?
Yeah, Jay was he was talking to a young lady in my projects at the time, and my MC Rob at the time. He's actually the one who actually met him first. Mm-hmm. We wound up going to the studio, and eventually Jay signed us, and we recorded a few demos, and out of them demos came the song "I'm Not Playing." Yeah. The group was the ultimate force. Right. I was the DJ, Rob was the MC. This is around the time when Grand Poobah was in a group called Masters of Ceremonies, mm-hmm. and everything just kind of snowballed from there. Right.
Yeah. And now, just to clarify, the Rob that was the MC in your crew wasn't the same Master Rob that was from.
Wasn't the same Master Rob as Fantastic Five. No.
Right. Okay. Did you know Ness at that time yet, or?
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah. Of course.
You go way back.
So Ness, what about you?
Way
first
before.
getting your foot in the door.
I mean, it's around the same time.
Okay.
Really, I mean, Diamond and Rob was like the first out the projects to make the record.
Right.
But I was around them at that time.
Sure.
So. Yeah, I did my first show with Diamond,
That's
371
right.
in the Bronx. Yeah, so
yeah.
Nah, me and Diamond go way
right.
back. So when you hear us talk about each other, it's not like it was just a music thing. No,
right.
It was always music because he had me cutting school, going to his crib and watch him make tapes.
Bad influence.
He was cutting 45s then.
Right. Right. So he was the first one out doing stuff. What was your break?
I was with my brother Mike Smooth.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So it was Lord Finesse and Mike Smooth. But I always known Diamond and Show did music just as well. Mm-hmm. Zakia Records is where I first got signed. That's what people don't know. And they went under.
Right.
And therefore, I went and shopped the Wild Pitch, and it was heard by Guru. Guru is the one that brought my demo to Stu.
Okay.
And also played it for Premiere.
Right.
So that was kind of my start. But like D said, still mentor of Jazzy J's, definitely, because the young lady he was seeing lived in my building. And her brother was one of my best friends at the time, so... That's how I met Jay, and he was taking me to Danceteria when he was, so that's my history. But I think, with Jay is a definitely an intricate part of DITC.
Sure. And at what point did DITC become an official entity? Because all y'all were already up, kind of growing up around each other. So when did y'all actually make it official that DITC was the name of the organization? You remember that moment?
I just remember the record. The record was Digging in the Crates. And I swear, I always say I wish I had... Diamond and Show did a record together. Mm. It was like a song. I swear I wish I had
Where's
that.
Dre?
Yes, I think it was over there, the Headhunters?
I don't remember. It was a long time
boom,
ago.
Boom. Yeah, it was crazy, though.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Dre was late for a session or something.
And that's how they came up with that song.
Yeah. Awesome. And then also, while you was at Wild Pitch, you kind of found Premiere through going through demos over there, right?
Premiere found him.
Premiere found me. Guru and Premiere was a group. And Stu Fine asked Premiere if, when I signed Finesse, would you like to work with him?
Right.
Mm-hmm. So at the time, Premiere, he heard the demos, but I think his first time seeing me live was during the New Music Seminar, 1989.
Right.
And right after that, we were
Got
working.
you.
I remember Tretch was on the thing with you too, right?
The next year.
Yeah.
Tretch was the next year. I was a judge the next year.
Mm.
Yeah.
Right, word. And then Ultimate Force, talked about that, dropped a single.
Right.
That was Strong City. And then how did that transition from dropping the single to then getting your solo deal?
Well, in between that, Finesse, as you know, he had his deal with Wild Pitch. So me, Premier, and Showbiz did the production on that album. And once Finesse got his feet wet, I think I started producing some stuff for Showbiz and AG. And out of that came Can I Get a Soul Clap? So I'm making a little bit of buzz in the Bronx and in the city. I was producing this guy named Joe Control. He was actually signed to the label that signed me, Chemistry Records.
Okay.
But I was just doing his demos. It happened to rhyme on one of his joints, and he took it down there. Then they wanted to talk to me. So I go down there thinking that we're gonna be talking about some production, and they wanted to sign me. So that was ironic, but yeah, I wasn't going to turn it down.
Sure.
Especially if something falls in your lap like that. So
Right.
that's how I came to record Stunts, Blunts, and Hip Hop.
Okay.
The A&R at the time, Brian Chin, he had just came from Profile Records. Brian told the artist, Joe Control, bring your producer down here. So I'm thinking I'm going down there, to talk about,
Okay.
how much they're going to give me for these beats. And Brian was like, well, actually, we want to sign you.
Wow.
So yeah, that's how that came about.
Okay.
Crazy. True story, though.
Absolutely. And you recently, had an anniversary for Stunts, Blunts, and Hip Hop, and
Yep.
Hatred, Passions, and Fidelity, as well as
Right.
all these classic records. And that same thing with you, Funky Technician, which actually bringing it back to now, you have anniversary editions getting ready to drop with also with some remixes.
What we did was we went back in, my team down in VA, me, Sprags, Bo, and I redid the album. Like, not redid it, but went back in and took everything and re-enhanced everything. So the quality is like, when you hear this album, you're going to throw the old one away. Not saying the old one is trash. It's just that I think with today's technology and everything you can do,
Right.
you can make the quality that much better. And the first album was very 808 heavy.
Right.
Where you got more 808 than you got the music.
Sure.
So this comes at you like in surround sound.
Right, right.
So it feels real good.
Right.
I can't wait for it to come out and people to hear it and tell me what they think. I'm very sonically tuned these days.
Right.
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 There was no Pro Tools back then. It was
Yeah.
just straight
Right.
2-inch reels.
Right.
And analog.
So
Absolutely.
and we was using a lot of compression and isolation of the vocals to get the hiss out. So to get it as clean as I got it, and you hearing everything just like right in your face with no extra hiss, and
Right.
it's a whole different feel. I know I listened to it for about a good couple of months because I
Right.
couldn't believe how good it sounded.
Sure. And then in addition to that, the cleaning up of it, there's also like actual remixes. Like you got the Large Pro remix, the
Premiere
remix.
yes, they've done remixes and kind of kept it in the same tune. I ain't want to modernize it out and mess
Right.
up the feel of the record.
Right.
So, Large and Premiere, that's hip hop.
Absolutely. Just an extension of digging in the crates.
Right.
Same
Definitely.
mind frame. And then D, with you have the Dime P series, which over the last couple of years you've been spreading out the volume 3.
Yeah.
And there's one part left of that, right?
Yeah, one part left of that, and that should drop maybe September.
Okay.
I mean, me and you, we work a lot, Clips.
Yeah.
And you already told me, as you tell many artists, if you want to drop vinyl when your album is released, it's at least a 3 to 4 month period.
Right.
So
Yeah.
knowing that, I'm looking at probably like September.
Got you.
Yeah.
Got you. And for this series, you've been mostly producing
Right.
everything on there. A lot of guest features on there, although you do appear on some stuff as well. And do you prefer producing for other people or producing for yourself more?
Both equally. I mean, I'm a producer at heart, first and foremost. But yeah, I like producing for myself and other artists equally. Just on this Dime Piece series, I just want to just give back get back to the music, get back to beats.
Sure.
Just get back to focusing on producing. After the Dime Piece 1, the Dime Piece 2, Tria, Duo. The last one is called, I'm sorry, it was Initium.
Yes.
Initium and Duo. The last album is called Tria.
Right.
And that's the one that's coming out in September this
Okay.
year. I actually have like a album listening event this evening.
Mm-hmm.
Where actually, Clips, I got like 25 songs, but only 15 can make it.
Yeah.
So
More content to
hopefully
work
you
with.
be there and help me help me
Figure out
narrow
which
it down to that 15. Everybody can't make it,
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
hey,
Man.
that's why I'm having this session. I don't like having a lot of yes men around.
Right,
Me.
of course.
If it's strong enough to make the
Right.
cut, it's gonna make the cut.
Right. Yeah,
If not, I always can look forward to the next project or whatever I do.
Ness, are you working on anything new?
I'm getting ready to.
Okay.
Couple of ideas that I have in mind. For me, it's just a feel. It's making music fun again.
Right.
Right. I don't want to look at it as a business. What I've learned with the music game, if I feel like it's a job,
Right.
I don't want to do it because
Sure.
what you love shouldn't feel like a job.
Absolutely.
So I think working on Motown State of Mind and meeting a lot of people along my journey, whether it's Tall Black Guy or Stro Elliott or Adrian Young, watching they work ethics, it's
Right.
like, wow, it's fun.
Sure.
I work with Tall Black Guy a lot.
Yeah.
So it's fun, and I'm ready to step back in, but more of on a music standpoint and making it a vision. I don't like to just put something out because I can,
Of course.
especially when you got a legacy of things you've done already.
Right.
The last thing you want to do is just throw something out and
Sure.
it doesn't compete with what
Right.
you've done
Sure.
before. So I think I could top what I've done before. So I'm looking excited. I'm feeling excited about doing that.
Right. Okay. And then along with that, you've also been sampled enough to allow you to not even have to put out music as like a profession. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have income coming from other means.
Oh
you know?
yeah, from a lot of production I've done, and
Yeah.
you're right. But that's the best way about
Absolutely.
it is that I have options
Yes.
nowadays versus before.
Right.
And like I said, my perception of music and how I look at it is from a whole different standpoint now, and I'm looking at really having fun and doing things that I don't think people gonna expect.
Sure.
And not in a bad way.
Right.
Because like I always say, I tell people, let your artist grow. If you keep telling them to do the same thing,
Right.
give me another album like this or give me another album like that. Like if you did that to Michael Jackson and you kept telling him to do ABCs, you would have never got Thriller off the wall.
Sure.
So I think, when you have artists that love what they do, that's the key word, love.
Right.
I think you can't go wrong with however it comes out.
Yeah, and I think D with the music that you make now, I can hear the difference between like the older stuff and the new stuff. Just in terms of updating. And the production sounds different than it did then. It's a continuation, modernized. Stuff like that. So and you work mostly out of Atlanta now when you record.
Yeah, I got a studio down there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, what's the setup look like down there? Like as far as what you're working with, like when you're making beats.
Typical home setup.
Okay.
Got the MPC X. I also work on the grid on Pro Tools. Got the Yamaha Motif XF8, the MPC 61.
Okay.
So I'm still Akai based,
Got you.
and of course I'm still sample based.
Right.
But I also use a lot more live instrumentation now.
Yeah. I was about to say you can hear that in the music
Yeah, of course.
as well. It's a little bit of a cleaner sound. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Now, for both of you guys, with sampling, obviously coming from where you guys come from, how has that affected how you produce nowadays? Being that everything now is like being under a microscope as far as what you sample, and it's kind of hard to get away with not clearing anything these days. So, like, do you guys still go as hard with like the samples, or you do, like you mentioned, like incorporating like, you know, new music? Do you focus more now on just kind of like playing stuff rather than sampling?
For me, it's both. I still sample,
both.
and I think people get a misconception of sampling because there's different layers to sampling. There's looping,
Right.
there's chopping, there's taking fragments.
Right.
You know, so when I look at sampling, I'm always gonna sample. It's just what you take and how you use it.
I use it right.
Because I hate when people say, I don't have to sample, because you don't know how to sample.
Right.
You know, when you know how to sample and you know how to chop, and we is filtering bass lines and time stretching, there's a whole entire stratosphere of how to approach it.
Right.
And nowadays you got stem isolation, you have AI. What you could do is just like beyond control.
Right.
You know, especially, it's all a mindset to me. It's not the machines. It's never the machines.
Right.
It's the mindset. And we're from a world, I say all the time, of limitation. So we had to create so many things with limitation.
Right.
So you had to use your mind
Sure.
to
With
create
less sampling time,
and
too.
get around
Absolutely.
less sampling time. So now imagine if you use that mindset
Right.
with today's technology, whether it's Ableton, whether it's whatever drum machines. It could be the 12, but I got the Renaissance, the 12, the 4000, Kai 950, the MPC 1.
Right.
You know, all these different programs. Like, that's why it's the challenge of what I'm going to do with my mindset and knowledge versus technology. That's what I get excited about, because it's the mindset. It's
Sure.
never the machine.
Right.
Because you can have the best machines, and music is not really evolving.
Yeah.
Maybe it's evolving for the way they look at it, but not
Nah,
from
not compared to what
the
we
era
did.
and realm
Yeah.
we come from.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's never the equipment. It's always the
Yeah.
person behind it. You
No,
know,
of course.
you just can't buy a sampler, a drum machine, or a keyboard and go in the studio and make magic. It's always the person programming the equipment. if you will.
Absolutely.
So,
But they just make it too simple. They devalue it because they're stopping people from really digging and using their mind. It's more like you too could be a producer with this machine and these drum kits and this library, and we'll give you samples. Like, come on, man. Like, you know, I hear people dig. Well, you're only as good as what the next person upload.
Exactly.
They don't upload nothing fly, then you
ain't got
trash.
nothing. Yeah.
So that's where I think coming up around Diamond and Show and Premiere and Lodge is constantly sampling, looking for rare things, looking for the rarest kicks and snares.
Yes.
It was scientific to us,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
that's what made the music sound so extraordinary.
No, absolutely. I mean, it on a multiple levels, it brought attention to the artists that you guys were sampling. You know, like our whole generation now knows of those artists because you guys sampled them. So it brought, you know, it's like now it's like we'll go digging and we're looking now for those same names. You know what I'm saying? So it's
Right.
like it turned them on, you know, to a whole new fan base. And at the same time, it's like you said, it's like about being creative with what you're finding and how you're actually flipping it and creating it to something totally new. And I think that's what when you know that 95, 96 era kind of came about, when you had like Bad Boy and that whole movement, it was for us, we kind of started looking down on that because what they were doing was so simplistic in terms of they were just jacking big loops and like putting it out, and it was like it wasn't what the art of digging was about. You know what I'm saying?
right.
It was about looking for obscure stuff. It was about chopping, changing things up, creating something new out of it. And so that's why, you know, you guys as a crew, DITC, will always be phenomenal and legends for what you've done and continue to do because of how you guys did that. So absolutely. Staying in that era for a second, Big L, you actually the one that met L, right?
Yeah, I met L doing an autograph signing. And, like, you know, he sent this boy over. Like I always tell you, he was too cool. He's like, I'm not gonna put myself out there. I'm gonna send my boy over.
Right.
So he sent his boy over and it's like, yo, my man over there, he nice. He want to rhyme for you. And I look over and I'm like, yeah, well, you know, because at that time, so many people was walking up on me wanting to rhyme, and it wasn't what I was looking for. It was like, yeah, all right, you know. So he basically told his man's like, yo, fuck that. He said, he rhyme for you. If you don't like him, he'll never fuck with you again. He won't bother you. So I'm like, well, fuck it, you know. And we was in a record store, Rockin' Wills on 125th Street, and they had a setup in the back. And they was cutting breaks, and he was rhyming, and this dude, he was advanced for his age, where I was looking like, damn, man, he is nice, you know. And I walked away with getting his information, his numbers, and you know, I just remember always putting him on the phone, three-way, putting him on the phone with the crew and letting them listen to him rhyme. Like, yo, this dude is nice. And coming from me at that time, it was like, get out of here. You know, he's nice. Like, really? You know, but when they heard him, you know, nobody could deny how nice he was. It took a while because everybody always compared him to me. He sound just like you. But I'm looking like, nah, I wasn't that nice at that age. I was just trying to find my way at that age. This dude is, he's well polished.
Sure.
And and we just kept trying to get him a deal. And Show did Devil's Son, and Devil's Son is the song that got him into the door.
Well, that was definitely from his, you know, his solo career, but then the Yes You May remix was definitely the one that like made
bring everybody's
people pay attention.
I forgot all about that.
Yeah, you can't forget about that one. That one was
man. You know, just like I said, just his opening line. I mean, I know the verse everywhere that I go. Brothers know my fucking name. I'm flooring niggas, and the only way a buck can change. I gave a lot of black guys in my extorting days.
Yeah.
Fucking with me, a lot of niggas was sporting shades. Like, the delivery and his imagination was fucking, I'm sitting there like, God damn, you know?
Yeah. Very visual. Yeah.
Yeah, like he was very and hilarious.
Sure.
So a lot of that goes into his character and style.
Right.
You know, like, so if you was around him and he ain't know you, you're not gonna know that. He's gonna be quiet. Yeah. But the minute that he goes into his zone, this dude is the funniest person.
Sure.
Even when he's upset, he was funny.
And with that record in particular, another digger, T-Ray, actually produced that and the remix on the other side. How did you connect with T-Ray?
I think through maybe Artifacts, Percy P.
Right.
I think Percy P, though. You know, because me and Percy was hanging tough around that time. And he was telling me about T-Ray.
Right.
And and I just remembered I needed a remix for Party Over Here, and it was like up-tempo. I didn't know who to go to.
Right.
So I was, you know, you take a stab at it.
Sure.
You know, and he came up with the remix. But I always thought about, during that time, unreleased B-sides.
Yes.
That's what made the 12-inch fly.
Absolutely.
Because it was either this incredible remix or it was a song that wasn't on an album that made you buy the 12-inch.
Yes. Right. Yes.
And that was Yes You May.
Yeah.
So when people heard that, it was like, yo, who is this? The beat was fire.
It was crazy. Everything
was it was a dope record. It definitely rang a lot of bells. You know?
For sure. I mean, it helped set up Big L at the same time, you know, also helped set up T-Ray, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, he was starting to bubble at that time. And obviously you already had, you know, your name, so it was just it was a great record all the way around.
Right.
Yeah.
Definite.
Absolutely. Now, production for other people. You guys have both produced for a ton of other artists. You know, I guess some of the bigger ones would be, and that's for you, Dr. Dre, Biggie, Diamond, the Fugees, Outkast, you know. Just, I can only imagine what those checks look like. You know what I'm saying? Coming in. I mean, it's got to be. I think going back to what I was saying about like having done that work and getting those residuals allows you to like kind of work at your pace and
publishing also.
Yes, I think that, and I think that's why I say legacy is important, and I think going forth you should look at your legacy because these are the things that help you get where you at. So why stop it if you really love it?
Right.
And the only thing you're doing is you're adding to your catalog. But the difference is now is you have complete ownership versus before it had to go through a label. Now when you create these albums, when Diamond create these dime piece albums, these are his own.
Yes.
He owns it.
Yes.
So when people come to him now, you're not just getting the publishing half, you're getting the master half.
Right.
And people really don't understand that part of it. They just think, oh, I'm throwing. But what's a catalog if it's not good? So many people throw these projects out and they're not good.
Right.
So you got a lot of songs out there, but do you got anything worth remembering?
Sure.
And that's where I feel like when it comes to production, do it if you love it. Keep going. There shouldn't be no expiration to what you love.
Right.
Absolutely. No, definitely. And no age limit, no, it's just as long as the music keeps coming out, you just keep going.
Yes.
For sure. Diamond, what about working with new artists? I know you met last time you had you on the show, you were talking about some new artists you were working with.
As a producer, that's important. Whether you're doing a project of your own or just expanding your brand, it's always nice to work with new artists. My man Shorty Shy, I work with him a lot. My man Static the Prodigy. I got a drink with Little D. Little D got he got a nice buzz out here in the streets right now. But that's what it's about. Just staying busy and like I said, expanding your brand. There's nothing wrong with working with the legends. I love working with the legends.
Sure.
You know what I mean? They're certified.
Right.
But it's also special to help break a new artist.
Sure.
And that as you know, that'll help continue your legacy as a producer.
Correct. And that's something you guys have always done too. Like we just talking about with L, like how you kind of took him under the wing and
right.
Even with mentioning Guru and Preem and how everyone just kind of like is meeting each other, helping each other out. It's all about building and growing together. And so
him and Big L's similar to me and Fat Joe.
Right. Absolutely.
Right. Definitely.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So. That's what it's about, continuing your legacy. Remember Fat Joe said on one of my skits, no Fat Joe, no Big Pun,
right?
No Remy Ma, no TS Squad, no DJ Khaled, just everybody who came behind him.
Yep, for sure.
Just as no Jazzy J, no Diamond D, no DITC.
Right.
Right.
So it's all about looking back at the legacy and just the tree, so
of course.
to say.
Of course, absolutely the tree.
Yeah.
Do the branches off that tree, and it's just, goes on and on forever. It stretches, like you said, like there's stuff that people might not even realize connects,
right?
But it does, what I'm saying? Like now, mentioning Fat Joe, how did Joe come into the fold originally?
Well, we we already knew each other, from the Jacks. We knew each other, and one day Joe approached me. He was like, yo, I've been writing some rhymes. I want to get into the music shit. So I said, okay, well, if you're serious, just pay for your sessions. I'll do the music.
Right.
So we went in there, we cut a few demos, and from those demos, he had a song. We recorded a song called "He's a Big Shot," and Joe went on to win the Apollo Theater. I think either 3 or 4 times. I'm not sure.
4.
Definitely 3.
About 4.
And anyway, out of those same demos came "You Gotta Flow, Joe," and everything just kind of snowballed from there with Fat Joe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That definitely was the one that during that time.
Right.
That was a huge single. All you heard on the radio, and around that time too, 45 King. You know what I'm saying? But thinking about radio and promos, he was all over that with Red and all that stuff. And I know you worked with 45 King as well.
Yeah, he did the Best Kept Secret remix.
Yep, absolutely.
among other things.
Yeah, yeah.
Rest in peace to Mark the 45
Rest in
King.
peace.
He,
And
touched a lot of people with his music.
Yeah. And then what was like? How did you connect with him, with 45 King?
We had a show at Hunter College. It was Queen Latifah, Lakim Shabazz, and I believe De La Soul was on the bill, and Ultimate Force was on the bill.
Okay.
And actually, Mark played a break beat that only a few people even know about, even to this day. So I said, "Yo, let me go up to the DJ booth and see who's cutting up this joint."
Right.
It was the Melvin Sparks joint. But anyway, so he's up there doing his thing, and I said, "Yo, what you know about that break beat?" 'Cause, I hadn't heard it in a minute, but I knew of it.
Yeah.
And then we just started talking from there. So actually, that's how me and him became cool. It had nothing to do with any MCs or nothing. It was all about the records he was playing.
Sure.
And I just felt it was odd for me to be at Hunter College and this shit comes over the speakers.
Right.
But yeah, that's how me and Mark connected initially. And he went on to give me the record that became Check 1 2 on Stunts, Blunts, and Hip Hop.
Okay.
So shouts out to the 45 King.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And both you guys MC, produce, and DJ. I know, D, you've been going on the road, touring a lot, doing 45 sets and stuff like that.
Right.
All over. Is there any other upcoming plans for another DJ set tour?
I'm in Connecticut next month.
Okay.
Then I'll be out in Columbus, Ohio. I'll be in Miami in July, back at Dante's High Five. Just keeping it moving.
Right.
I also got a couple of shows of me performing. I want to get back to performing on the mic too.
Got you.
The 45s, that's like where I come from.
Yeah.
But it's nice to be well rounded.
Sure, of course.
You know
Absolutely.
what I mean? So yeah. I know Finesse was on the tour. Was it last year? You went to Europe?
Yeah, I was last year around September.
Right.
Europe. It was good to be back out. I wasn't out in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was nice.
Your tour is usually in your bedroom when you're doing your Twitch, your
I
worldwide
mean,
Twitch.
Yeah, you can
Twitch
catch
stream.
me on Twitch, Lord Finesse DITC. We do Saturday brunch every Saturday.
That's right.
And what I found it to be is it makes me happy.
Sure.
To be able to play whatever I want to play.
Mm-hmm.
There's no set playlist. I could play yacht rock. I could play some breaks. I could play 80s, 90s, 70s, wherever you want to go with it.
Right.
And it keeps you sharp. And it just always, it brings about that appreciation. Like,
Sure.
dang, this still sounds good. This still feels good. So it keeps you sharp, especially when I do DJ sets, whether it's on Twitch or I got to do an open format set. My vision and perspective is different because I think as a DJ, you're supposed to come and bring your vibe,
Sure.
not what everybody else is doing. So it helps me bring my vibe, and I like to play them joints that you done forgot about. And go, oh wow, he went there with it, So, I love DJing and definitely love performing and. Production, still do production, but the last project, what was that? Motown State of Mind was the last project I did, and that gave me a lot of insight to do some of the newer stuff I'm about to do.
Got you.
Like you got Funky Technician reissue album, which the rights reverted back. Next year, Return of the Funky Man, the rights will revert back. I have a project called From the Crates to the Files. Y'all originally released the first version, came back and reworked that. It got some other new stuff or stuff people never heard of is on there. And always looking to keep my catalog going. But I'm looking to do a new project. I've been talking to John about that. And somewhat to what Diamond is doing.
Right.
With Dime Piece, but it'll have artists, it'll have singers, musicians.
Nice.
Because I was talking to Ray Parker Jr.
Okay.
And he loved what I did with Motown State of Mind. And he's like, look, the next project, yo, Ness, you got to catch me while I'm alive, man.
Shouts out to Ray Parker.
Ray Parker, man. Shouts out to Ray Parker. And there's so many other people that I'm inspired by. And I look at, what I'm looking at doing is a lot of collab work, right?
Sure.
Like, I look at it like how Quincy Jones did Off the Wall and Thriller. He could have produced everything single-handedly,
Right.
but the collaborations was massive. So I'm looking at producing an album with me and my team, but the collaborations is gonna be different. It's not gonna be like something you could predict.
Got you.
So that's what that's gonna be.
Okay.
I haven't came with a title yet.
Right.
You know, I got one title in mind, but I think that's for like the last album. I just look at it like I got one more album that I want to do.
Okay.
But I wanna pair it with a documentary. I wanna pair it with I've been working on the docu-series.
Okay.
And that's coming along well. That's
Dope.
It's gonna be different because it's not a podcast. It's more like, you know, I need a film crew. Like,
Right.
You know.
Right.
But that's coming along. I keep a lot of things in myself until they ready to come out. Because when they don't come out, it's like, yo,
What's
you said
up?
you was gonna do this, or automatically somebody come with the same. I had the same idea, like so.
Right.
You know, I just keep everything quiet.
No, for sure. And one thing that you just mentioned, which is a great point, is that in the history of FatBeats, I mean, you guys as a crew were probably the first people that we worked with that came from a major label background, you know, and together we put out your independent releases early on. So that was great for both of us, you know.
Yeah. Because
win-win.
When I hear people talk about independence, like it just started. Like,
Right.
yeah, I'm independent. And
Right.
I'm like, man, we been independent. We talking about the 90s. We talking about selling like 20 to 30, 40,000 singles, you know? So it's a different world now with streaming. And, you know, I think with streaming, streaming allows people to be irresponsible with music, right? Now I'll tell you why. Right? When music came out, you know, and during our era,
Right.
let's say you had 5 albums came out, but you could only afford 2.
Right.
Now you had to make a wise decision.
Sure.
You was listening to the music more.
Yep.
You was looking at the credits.
Yep.
You was asking people opinion.
Yep. Yep.
And you knew that this music had to last
Sure.
until I can buy some more
Something
music.
else. Yeah.
So you was smart with it.
Sure.
Yeah.
You know, you like, yo, you know, what you think of this album? Oh, that album is okay, but only got one cut. Everybody's, you know, you had to really read the
Sure,
credits,
of course.
and you was responsible because you know why? It was your money.
Right.
Yeah.
It was your money.
Yeah.
Now with streaming, it allows you to be irresponsible because you getting all this music for damn near nothing.
Yep.
And now you running through albums. Yeah, I heard that.
Right.
But if it was your money,
Yep.
you wouldn't
Sure.
be as loose with it.
Sure.
And that's how I look at streaming. It's like, yeah, it's out there and it's a part of technology, but it's not having people value music, and you're not going home with a piece of vinyl or something that's going. I mean, when you look at, if you got, let's say you got a mint copy of Stunts, Blunts, and Hip Hop right now, you know what that record will be worth?
Of course.
You know, so when I look at digging and streaming, digging is like stocks and bonds to me.
Yes. Yep.
Because we buy rare records. But if you buy a mint record from back in the days that's out of print, the value only goes up.
Yep.
So 10 years from now, it's worth so much more
Right.
than you actually paid. And I think people don't understand that about digging. It's like,
Right.
okay, I used the record, we could get rid of it now. You know, nah. If it's a mint record, the value is only going to go up.
Sure.
Music and records is always going to be
No, absolutely.
an
And it's funny
essential
you
part of the
mentioned
culture.
Stunts, Blunts, and Hip Hop, because that always been an expensive record on the secondhand market. Yeah, and it's also, you know, along those thoughts is during the eras that we came up in, everything was focused. When you had a release, everyone knew that release was coming out, and that was what you were kind of listening to at that particular time. Now there's so much music, and there's so many different avenues of how to hear music.
Right.
It's just all over the place, and there's no. I might be listening to something different than what you're listening to, and then what you're listening to. Whereas, back then, if Diamond's album dropped that Tuesday, we were all listening to that album that Tuesday. You know what I mean? Like it was just like, you'd see the video. That would be what was being promoted to radio. That was so it's like it was just more focus on stuff that came out back then.
It gave the DJs more power to break a record.
Yes, absolutely.
So you might hear something that go, yo, this is incredible, when you play it, and person go, yo, what's that?
Right.
But now it's a controlled playlist. It doesn't, and they tell you all the time, well, there's great music out there. You just got to find it. So why we got to search for the gems and be overwhelmed with the trash?
Exactly.
So I miss that. I miss being hip to music by DJs, whether it was Kid Capri or whoever was on the radio. They played great music, and it wasn't something you knew, and radio allowed that.
Right.
And they always say, if you want to hear your record, call up. They don't even ask you to call up no more. You're going to just listen to this right here, you know?
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, and I think that y'all's DJ background is probably also a part of why you always want to put somebody on and look for something new, is because that's what we always did as DJs, about trying to break something new and give people something that they weren't familiar with.
Yeah, that's what it's about. It's about evolving in that sense, But I still dig for music. It doesn't stop. It's it's a lifestyle for me. It's not a hobby. It's like, if I ain't gonna front. If I hear something I never heard before, I'll Shazam it. But you know what I'm gonna look? I'm gonna look for the record. I want the record.
Right.
I heard it, but I want the record.
Absolutely.
I want the physical copy.
Yep.
And that's the difference. But it is great music out there, and it's still a lot of music we've never heard before.
Of course.
Whether it's Polish or Prague or it's so much stuff out there. So it's times I go in the record store. If I buy 2 records, I'm happy.
Right.
Compared to the collections we have.
Yeah, exactly.
To find 2 things that I don't have.
Right.
Oh man, I'm ecstatic.
D, with the artists that you're working with from your own stable, is there projects that you're currently in the middle of producing for your albums?
Right now, just the last part of this Dime piece, the Tria album. Got a new joint from Fat Joe. Method Man is on there. Freeway, Smith and Wesson. I got a nice joint with the Bush Babies.
Yeah.
I got a nice joint with Slumville. Nice. Some of these joints, you'll hear tonight if you're able to make it out there. So yeah, just staying busy doing what I do, Clips.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's been a pleasure having you guys here to talk about stuff. If people actually want to find out more information to catch you on socials, how do they catch you?
On Instagram, Diamond DITC, one word, Diamond DITC. For the older heads, you can catch me on Facebook, Diamond D or Diamond DITC. Same thing with X. Even though I don't really rock with X too tough, but I'm still on there, Diamond DITC.
Right. For me, catch me on Instagram. I don't post as much. You might want to catch my stories. But that's Lord Finesse DITC. Also on Twitch, if you want to experience on Saturday, that's Saturday brunch, Lord Finesse DITC. We have an incredible show coming up this summer called The Bronx Tale is a Theme, with me, Diamond, Sadat, Pooba, Peter Guns, Nice and Smooth. We did it in L.A. in February. It was bananas.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to that show, and looking forward to going in the studio and get back to work.
No doubt. That's what it is. DITC. Lord Finesse, Diamond D. Hope you enjoyed the show. We'll talk to you all next episode right here on FatBeats Behind the Counter Podcast. Peace.
Peace.
The FatBeats, to the stairwell to FatBeats. FatBeats they play on. With the fat